Welcome to another of our GST titled Philosophy and Logic. This material is from National Open University of Nigeria. My name is Dan Asukwo, your instructor. Are you writing any of the GSTs soon, or you want to improve your knowledge on philosophy and logic? If so, let us know on the comment section so that we can help you out. If you are a noun student or from any other universities, this will be very useful for you. Please do well to share it with others as well as on your study groups. If this is your first time of coming across our videos, why not do well to subscribe, like, comment, and share for others too to benefit. Unit 4. Philosophy and Other Disciplines Contents. 1.0. Introduction. Beside the four traditional branches of philosophy that you have learned above, there are other branches of philosophy which are often referred to as the philosophy of the infrastructure of disciplines. This study unit introduces you to the analysis of the relationship between philosophy and some other disciplines. Bearing in mind that there is no discipline per se that does not stem from philosophy as parent discipline. Unit 3. The focus in this unit will be specifically on the relationship between philosophy, the sciences, religion, education, and law. 2.0. Intended learning outcomes. By the end of this unit, you will be able to apply philosophical thoughts in analyzing the relationship between philosophy, science, religion, education, and law. 3.0. Main content. 3.1. Philosophy and science. You should bear in mind that until late 16th and early 19th centuries, all scientific knowledge was within the ambit of philosophical inquiry. In other words, philosophy was the science per excellence. But according to Archie J. Baum, as reflections upon problems became increasing, complex, and as special techniques were developed, specialists limited the range of these inquiries, and the sciences were born. Among the first were mechanics, mathematics, and astronomy. Among the latest were psychology and sociology. The romance of the maturing of these offspring of the fecund mother must be left to the history of science, 1995-10. The nature of scientific knowledge. Unlike philosophy, science is best known as an exact discipline. In line with this, the Oxford Advanced Dictionary also defines science as knowledge arranged in an orderly manner, especially knowledge obtained by observation and testing of facts. For Frolov, the nature of scientific knowledge goes beyond this positivist definition. According to him, science is also the field of research directed towards obtaining further knowledge of nature, society, and thought. Science is not limited to natural or exact sciences. Science is an integral system with its components flexibly correlated in history, study of nature, study of society, natural science, 1984, 372. There is no doubt that science stemmed from philosophy. It is also true that as a discipline, science bears some specific characteristics different from philosophy. According to Harold H. Titus, scientific knowledge can be defined as a system of man understands of nature, society, and thought. It reflects the world in concepts, categories, and laws whose truth is verified by practical experience. Science is the study of the totality of the concrete spheres of material reality. It is concerned to investigate and establish objective laws of nature by forming working hypotheses by which man may be enabled to harness nature to his purposes and transform his environment. 1997-65. From the above definition of science, it should be clear to you that the main purpose of science as discipline is to observe, understand natural phenomena, and then control processes. To any scientist, it is assumed that the universe, the orderly and natural phenomena, are predictable and lawful. Convergences and divergences between philosophy and science. Always remember that it is improper to consider philosophy and science as competitors. Even though science originated from philosophy as a discipline, their subject matter is different. The scientist's main business is to explain natural phenomena, while a philosopher does not intend to do so. An average scientist always seeks for explanation, while the philosopher basically seeks for justification. You should also know that the two main scientific purposes are prediction and control over phenomena. There are also 6 steps procedures in any scientific inquiry which one cannot avoid. These are observation, inductive generalization, hypothesis, attempted verification of hypothesis, proof or disproof, and knowledge. Thus, prediction and control based on the laws of induction are what makes science not only original but also different from philosophy. As academic disciplines, their methodologies are quite different. The philosopher's inquiry begins where that of the scientist stops. It may be difficult for a scientist to answer philosophical questions. Philosophy operates at a different level. A scientist cannot answer philosophical questions such as, is the world divided into mind and matter, or is it possessed of independent power? Is the mind subject to matter, or is it possessed of independent power? Has the universe any unity or purpose? Is it evolving towards some goal? Are there really laws of nature, or do we believe in them only because of our innate love of order? Does God exist? You can see that none of these questions can find answer in the scientist's laboratory. You should also bear in mind that even though the kind of knowledge that the scientist and philosopher seek is different, the purpose of their disciplines is often similar. Because both of them are motivated by sheer curiosity and the satisfaction of having knowledge of the universe purely for the pleasure of the understanding. 3.2 Philosophy and Religion. The purposes of philosophy and religion are fundamentally opposed. A philosopher is always critical, while a religionist is not. For a religionist, the role of reason is basically one of interpreting and defending the dogma derived from sources whose authority and truth is taken on faith. While any serious philosopher begins his investigations from a position of intellectual neutrality, regardless of where his personal sympathies may lie. In philosophy, any known assumption is subject to critical scrutiny, while religion is purely dogmatic. In religion, knowledge is sought principally to achieve what a given religion takes to be humankind's final happiness or destiny. While in philosophy, knowledge is sought simply for its own sake. Philosophy often questions the assumptions of religion. You should also know that the purposes of philosophy should not be confused with those of the religious minister, the theologians, the psychoanalyst, pastors, and imams. A philosopher is not a magician. Critical reasoning, neutrality, and the desire for knowledge for its own sake are the basic concerns of a philosopher. It is in this sense that philosophy is very different from religion. 3.3 Philosophy and Education. This minor branch of philosophy refers to the study of the fundamental principles of the theory of education, as distinguished from the science or art of education. That is, the empirical study of educational process and the techniques or methods of educational practice. For instance, to the pragmatists, the philosophy of education principally deals with values and goals of education, which include the nature of humans as capable of being educated, the agent by which education is achieved, the characteristics of a truly educated person, the trained abilities acquired in education, which help one to solve practical problems of life, and control of his environment. In this branch of philosophy, the philosopher examines the concept of education and what it means to educate and how best it can be achieved. He looks at stages involved in education and what the goals of ideal education are. 3.4 Philosophy and Law. The function philosophy performs in law is that it studies the nature of law and philosophical principles of law and justice, with reference to the origin and the end of the civil law and the principles that should govern its formulation. A critical and philosophical look at law in its generality is the function of a discipline called jurisprudence, which, as understood by lawyers, denote a working knowledge of a particular system of law with reference to the exercise of private and public decision-making functions, and scholarly critiques of the resulting actions. According to Pizzorni, there are three classifications of the main object of philosophy of law, and these are: 1. The universal concept of law, that is, its essential features which must be present in every juridical system. 2. The foundation of law from which every legal system derives its origin and values. 3. The standard or criteria with which all existing laws are guided and evaluated, for the problem of the evaluation of law is the problem of the philosophy of law. Curled from Omoregbe, 1994, 173. Philosophy of law differs from the science of law. While the science of law deepens man's knowledge of laws or legal system, The philosophy of law broadens man's horizon and opens the human mind to see that there is more to the reality of law and legal experience than can be seen through the empirical study of law. 4.0. Conclusion. Philosophy share relationship with other field of study such as science, religion, education, and law. 5.0. Summary. To get the best of this unit, you may need to repay it again. Also drop a comment on the comment section stating the important lesson learned.